Humanity has collectively discovered 6,000 exoplanets.
It's mad that we are literally in a empty space with a lot of ground and we're just in the middle of nowhere. There's no one around us. There's nothing around us. There's no living things around us. Only us. I don't think we will go to other planets. I'm playing my fidget toy right now.
Planets, which are planets outside of our solar system. But there are certainly far more. In our galaxy alone, there are over 100 billion stars, and we think basically all of them have some planets of their own.
And we say that we're literally alone. We're not alone. There's other planets that we can go to. Like as a underwater planet, I don't know where it is, but there's fucking very massive fish in there.
Not to mention the trillions of other galaxies all filled with their own planets and stars. This basically means any planet you can dream of within the laws of physics is probably out there somewhere waiting to be discovered. And so in this video, I want to take you on a journey to see 4 hypothetical worlds better for humans than Earth. And as you watch this, keep in mind, all of these planets probably do exist somewhere.
And I don't think the planet will live on for the longest time. Apparently this Earth is about 1 billion. I'm going to search it up. 4.5 billion. So I don't think it will be around here much longer.
Out there in the universe. We ran simulations to make sure they all obey the laws of physics. Here we go. Our first stop on our journey might look pretty familiar if you're a fan of Avatar, because this world is the real-life Pandora, a habitable moon of a gas giant planet. This world is nearly the size of the Earth, but it's in orbit around a massive Jupiter-like planet. Under these conditions, anyone on the surface of the planet would experience about 80% of Earth's gravity. Our gas giant planet is located within its star's habitable zone, giving our Pandora world a lush and temperate climate.
I want to go to Pandora. I wish there was no civilization. I wish there's no buildings, so we can just live in the woods. I know it could be dangerous, because if I live in the woods, there's not a lot of dangerous animals in the UK. I can't find any.
Habitable moon would be tidally
Other humans. I just thought of that.
locked to the gas giant, meaning just like our moon, one face will always stay pointed at the planet. Anyone living on the side that faces the planet would be treated to maybe the best view in the entire universe. A huge planet floating in their sky 24/7. And honestly, that alone might make this world better for humans than Earth, but the benefits don't stop there. Because the moon is tidally locked to the gas giant planet, the axial tilt will be stabilized for millions or even billions.
This area that we're in now, pretty boring. Now, there's no massive gas giants. If you ever played No Man's Sky, when you're under a planet, that scares shit out of me. Because that planet can kill me.
Billions of years. This would prevent extreme seasons from making certain parts of the moon uninhabitable. There might even be some added tidal heating, essentially just increasing the moon's internal energy by the gas giant stretching and squeezing it. This tidal heating, if it's not too excessive, could drive geothermal activity enough to prevent massive supervolcanoes or horrible ice ages. It would take 10 days for our little moon to completely orbit the gas giant, and since it's tidally locked, this would mean a single day on this world lasts the full 10 days. 5 days of sunlight followed by 5 days of night. Interestingly though, nighttime on the near side of the moon would be illuminated by the gas.
I think that'd be cooler. Obviously, it'd be weird to fall asleep because you're used to all the daylight. I mean, you're used to all the nighttime being there. So you just wake up at any time. You don't know what time you wake up.
Giant. It would make the surroundings extremely bright, way brighter than our lousy full moon here on Earth.
If we go to another planet, eventually we will destroy it. If anything fails, then we had to go back where you are destroying it. You don't know where to put the plastics. You can't shoot it into space because that'll just mess up the atmosphere.
And are you ready for the best part? During this 10-day cycle, the moon will pass behind the planet if the system is aligned, giving us these truly magical solar eclipses. The stars would come out for a few hours as the moon is sent into a kind of midday twilight. Temperatures would drop, and this would actually be the only time that people living on the near side of the moon would get to see the stars, as during their normal night times, the shining planet in their sky would just be too bright, preventing them from seeing the universe. universe. Can you imagine living on a world like this? They really are out there waiting to be discovered. I mean, just look at this picture. You probably think it looks like a blurry picture of the Earth, but really it's Titan, the largest moon of Saturn. Now let's go and check out our next planet. Life on our next planet will look pretty similar.
We don't want to go to Mars because that's dry as shit. So dry, there's no water there. If it changes, if there's water on Mars soon enough, then yeah, but it's so fucking dry. You have to have like a bottle of water next year.
Similar to here on Earth, a beautiful warm star shining in the sky. Everything would look the same. That is, unless you looked a little closer. If we zoomed in on our star, we would start to notice something strange. What's that? A black hole. Welcome to the Black Sun Planet, a world in orbit around a binary system of a star and a stellar mass black hole. The planet itself is exactly the same as Earth. The only difference is we are now bound to two huge bodies, the star and the black hole. The orbital dynamics of the system are pretty magical. The star weighs the same as our sun, and it's in orbit around a black hole with 10 times its mass. This means they do this unique orbital dance. Now let's zoom out. Here's our planet. It's very similar to Earth, but since it's orbiting this black hole star binary, it travels much quicker thanks to gravity if it wants to stay inside the star's habitable zone. A year on this planet would be just 110 days long. You might think that because the black hole, it travels much. It's very similar to Earth, but since it's orbiting this black hole star binary, it travels much quicker thanks to gravity if it wants to stay inside the star's habitable zone. A year on this planet would be just 110 days long. You might think that because the black hole weighs 10 times more than
I thought he said the days are that long.
The sun, it would be huge. But in reality, it's only about 60 kilometers wide, tiny compared to the physical size of the star.
Now what scares me, we're on a little planet and there's fucking massive suns. So if the sun came really close to us, I would probably have a heart attack. It's so big. We're not used to planets being that big. You'll probably have a heart attack outward.
Itself, but gravitationally dominant. From the ground, things would look essentially indistinguishable from here on Earth. Using advanced telescope systems, we would be able to detect a small Einstein ring as the star passes directly behind the black hole. Now, as we know, thanks to Interstellar, the more time you spend near a black hole,
like the sun moves an inch, then we're just swallowed.
The slower time passes for you, thanks to time dilation. The added mass of the black hole would actually slow down our clocks here on Earth by 4.7 seconds every single year. This mostly comes from the black hole's presence, but also from the faster orbital velocity of the planet itself. This is of course negligible for daily life, but we would have to factor it in to our calendars and GPS systems. Now here's where things get crazy. On Earth, the sun's gravity contributes to our tides, about half as much as the moon, but still a significant contribution. On this world, since there will be the gravity of the sun itself, but also the gravity of the black hole, tides would be about 5 times higher, even without a moon. Coastal cities would have to build.
And that scares me as well. I have this kind of phobia. I put it on the screen.
Megalophobia.
Tsunamis, everything like that. It's like, we don't have anything here. Anything we have, like floods in the UK, nothing really happens. Which is quite dangerous in itself because people can't get out of their homes.
Protective systems to endure such conditions. Okay, so why is this planet better for humans than Earth? Well, I think the real benefit of living on this planet compared to the Earth would be having a black hole so close that we could run experiments with. We could try and measure Hawking radiation directly, throw something into the black hole, or test extreme cases of time dilation, all from the comfort of our own backyard, cosmically speaking.
A few people have said, what imagine if we are in a black hole and we don't know about it? Like it sucked us in ages ago, before our species was here. And we didn't really know about it. And we lived.
Our third system is very special. It contains 2 Earth twins orbiting a star. These 2 planets are equal in mass, and they actually share a single orbit around their host star. It takes them about 1 Earth year to complete a full loop. Once every 33 years, they will pass close enough to each other to switch their positions. This is known as a horseshoe orbit. At their closest approach, they will pass just 1.5 million.
It's pretty close though. My thought is, if we get really close, it would just fuck up their it would just collide and their gravities will pull together. Something goes wrong. At one time, something goes wrong whilst passing like this, and we just collide with each other. Space scares me.
Million kilometers away from one another, an amazingly close pass. Any closer and they would literally tear each other apart thanks to their gravity. And once they swap positions, they just continue on their journey, sharing their orbit, one slightly closer to the star than the other until they meet up once again in 33 years and swap back. Living in this kind of system would be so different to Earth. Imagine if every 30 years our planet came right up close to another Earth. We could send ships between them to trade goods and culture. Using our current propulsion technology, a journey between these two worlds would take about a week. And similar to our first planet, during these close passes, humans on each planet would be
I think it can do that either way. If we are on this planet, right, we can just throw something back. Like, I don't know if that sounds stupid or not, but we can just pass it back. I don't know. Send a rocket and just pass it back like that. But we can't pass this back until 33 years.
Treated to a beautiful view of a huge world in their sky. The tides would also be roughly 5 times greater than normal thanks to the extra gravitational pull during these passes. It would also mitigate some of the existential risk we face here on Earth. If an asteroid comes today and wipes out life on our planet, humanity's story ends. If we had a sister Earth, we would continue on and rebuild. I personally think this is the main reason why these worlds would be better for humans than Earth. Safety and security, knowing you have a backup right next door. And while this sounds like a kind of exotic system, it would genuinely be stable for billions of years, and we've seen them before. Now, granted, we've not seen full exoplanet systems like this, but we have seen something that is gravitationally identical. Moons in orbit around Saturn. Meet Janus and Epimetheus, our solar system's very own horseshoe duo. These moons orbit just outside of Saturn's F ring and share the same orbit. They take roughly 17 hours to complete one single loop of the planet. Roughly every 4 years, the inner moon catches up to the outer moon, and their mutual gravity causes them to switch sides. The next switch is actually coming next year. So while this idea of twin Earths sharing the same orbit kind of sounds like a sci-fi movie, this is very real physics, and I would bet anything that worlds like this exist somewhere in the universe. Now finally, let's head to the 4th planet, better for humans than Earth. I've brought you to our last stop for a beautiful sunrise, but this sunrise is special.
I bet if there's life on here, then it would be 2 completely different species.
I've brought you to our last stop for a beautiful sunrise, but this sunrise is special because our final world actually orbits 5 suns. I know this sounds ridiculous, but the physics actually does work. Here's the setup. There are 2 stars a bit smaller than our sun in orbit around one another here in the middle. They are nearly close enough to touch, but it is stable. These 2 form our primary gravitational anchor. The planet itself orbits around this central pair at the same distance the Earth orbits the sun. If we stopped here, we would have Tatooine, but we can do better. Further out,
Would that be too hot though? Too hot to live on?
we have another pair of red giant stars. This pair slowly orbits one another every 5 to 10 years, and they take 70 years to complete one full loop of the inner system. Now finally, going out to much farther, 500 times farther away than the Earth to Sun distance, there is one final red supergiant orbiting. This star takes thousands of years to complete an orbit. And that's why there are 5 suns in the sky. Systems like this are only stable if there are very specific ratios that are maintained between different stars' masses and how far away they all are. The closest star system to us in real life actually isn't that different. They have Alpha Centauri A and B as the central stars, with Proxima Centauri orbiting further out around the pair. The first question is, of course, how are these 5 stars not just cooking the planet? Amazingly, the distance between all of the stars and their stellar flux actually works out such that it receives just as much sunlight as the Earth. No more. There would be slight variation as different stars eclipse one another, but overall this would be pretty negligible. Because the giants and supergiant are all red stars, the new Earth would be bathed in more red light than our current Earth. Photosynthesis would survive and potentially even cause plants to be biased towards appearing more red in color. But as you'd expect, nighttime on this planet would be pretty rare. They would go 8 years between completely dark nights. The rest of the time there would always be at least one of these stars illuminating their planet. This would give us the opportunity to have near continuous daylight bathing our solar farms, powering the new Earth. When you do go outside and look down, you could be treated to a view of multiple shadows, all overlapping and cast in different directions. Sadly though, the biggest downside is the stars are going to die soon. The red giants and red supergiant that orbit further out are relatively short-lived stars. These stars only hang around for a few million years before they end with a bang, a supernova explosion. This would ruin the dynamics of the system, so if the planet wasn't already destroyed by the supernova, it would more than likely just be ejected from the system anyway, sent on a long and lonely journey through the galaxy. So while it would be amazing to see 5 sunrises and sunsets, our time on this world would be pretty limited. Let me know down in the comments which planet was your favorite and where you think humanity should move to next.